The cat's judgment. A partridge lived in her nest beneath a large peepal tree. She had been living there for many years. She was kind and friendly to all the little animals and birds. One day, the partridge left her cozy home to look for food. She traveled far and came to a field of corn. It was time for the harvest, for the corn was fully ripe. The partridge was fond of ripe corns. She remained in the field eating as much corn as she could. She made friends with the other birds there. She did not return home that day or the next day or the next day. She stayed in the cornfield for many days. While the partridge was away, a rabbit found her empty nest. The rabbit had no home of his own, so he went to live in the partridge nest and made it his home. When the partridge returned, she found the rabbit in her nest. She was angry. "What are you doing here?" asked. "This is my house." "Your house?" said the rabbit. "It is mine now. I have been living here for many days." "You cannot stay here," said the partridge. "I built this house and I have always lived here. You can ask the neighbors." "Why should I ask anybody?" replied the rabbit. "I found nobody living in this house, so I moved in. A house belongs to the one who lives in it, so it is my house now. You can ask the neighbors if that is true or not." "No, it is my house," cried the partridge. "I went away for a few days to find some food. Now I have come back. Will you please get out of my house?" "No, I won't." The rabbit was firm. "Here I am and here I stay." The quarrel between the partridge and the rabbit went on for a long time. Many animals and birds gathered around. They heard what the partridge said and they heard what the rabbit said. Nevertheless, none of them could say to whom the house belonged. They thought the partridge and the rabbit should find out what the law said. So they decided to take the dispute to a judge. It was not easy to find a good judge. The rabbit and the partridge walked miles and miles looking for a judge. At last they came to the bank of the river Ganga, and there at a distance they saw a big tomcat. They stood still. They were afraid to go further because they knew how dangerous a tomcat would be. He was a wicked cat. He quickly closed his eyes and stood on his hind legs. Holding up a string of prayer beads, he prayed at the top of his voice. The partridge and the rabbit were puzzled. They were seeing a holy cat for the first time. How well he said his prayers. "I think we can ask this cat to judge our dispute," said the rabbit. "Yes, I think so too," said the partridge. "Still, we must be careful. A cat is our natural enemy." They stood in silence until the cat had finished saying his prayers. The cat opened his eyes and looked at them. "Oh, holy sir," said the partridge, "a little quarrel has arisen between this rabbit and me. It is about an important matter of law. Please decide it for us. You may punish whoever you find is in the wrong." "Dear friend," replied the cat, "do not say such a wicked thing. You know I cannot bear to see others in pain. Yet you say I should punish one of you. Those who harm others will be punished by God. Now do tell me what your quarrel is about. Then I will decide who is right and who is wrong." "Well, this is what happened," said the partridge. "I went away for a few days and when I returned, I found this rabbit had moved into my house." My house," shouted the rabbit. "Now please keep calm," said the cat, "and let me hear the whole story." So the partridge told her story again, and when she had finished, the rabbit gave his story. The cat sat in silence for a few moments. Then he spoke. "I am very old," he said. "I cannot see or hear you well. I have not quite understand your case. Won't you both come a little closer and tell me all about it again?" The partridge and the rabbit were no longer afraid of the cat. They trusted him. So they both moved closer to him. Before they knew what was happening, the cat had hit them hard with his paws. Both the partridge and the rabbit were killed, and the cat ate them up.